Okay. Wow, son. Got the airbrush. I think I have a glove floating around here. Alright, so the workup was turquoise. I used this gray and this white. Right here. So, but first, I'm going to grab a little transparent black. And I just used a rattle can primer on this guy. I'm going to just grab the transparent black. I'm going to raw dog some of this on this guy just to black it up. And I might put a touch of coal black in there just to steal the body of the true acrylic paint and some of the extra blackness from the transparent. Something like that. I'm going to throw it all in the pot. I'm going to try to keep it as raw dog as possible. Yeah. Set this down. I'm going to put my glove on because I know I'm just going to spray the shit out of my hand. Thank you, JDA. The base is pretty fun. Lava as an effect is super fun. Okay, so I'm just going to open up the cone. I might even back the needle out just a tick to widen it. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of up the ante on this guy. Get a little bit more black coverage. I'm going to just start and just kind of wrap him in one consistent sheet of black. I'm not going to let it get too wet or built up. I'm not even really looking for true opacity here. I'm just trying to get a nice, clean, uniform, consistent sheet of blackness. Got to bury it in the nooks and crannies. You see, it's a much nicer finish than the primer, but that's fine. The primer's job is just to let this shit stick. Okay? Let that chillax. Just a little bit more coal black in there. I want a little bit more of that heavier body mix in there. I'm going to seal the needle back. And I'm really just going to try to focus down and get it in those nooks and crannies. And this is where the rattle can kind of fails, is getting deep in the cut, you know. So I want to make sure that our deep shadows are nice and covered. And there's a bunch of green stuff work in there to fill the gaps, which I did film that process. You can see that on Patreon. Don't worry, this guy will brighten up real quick because we're going to be taking him to a gray. And I like the idea of going with that cool gray rock formation because it really will complement the base. Alright, nice, clean, and sharp, vibrant black. I double pinned him to this base to hold him because his stance is so wide. Man, this guy's a beast. So I just kind of pinned him so I can hold at least this. Okay, so there's just some straight black in there. We're going to just jump straight into it, okay, guys? We're going to take some of this gray. Normally, I just use white. But this guy's so big, we're going to get a lot of coverage. We're going to throw some gray in the pot. A little bit of turquoise. And we're going to just try to find our mix, okay? That's not a bad start. Let's throw a little bit more transparent black in there to darken it up without really adding too much body to it. Might have to add a little coal black. Might need a little bit more ass than that. Okay, so we want a nice dramatic finish as always, but we don't want to be too black in the drama department, in that shadow department. Because the rocks, I really like the way the rocks look, and I need to get closer to that more neutral position, but I want to leave some of the darkness behind. So I'm just going to jump into it. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Just messing with it. So we might be going for almost a full coverage here. We'll see. I'm going to start chill, though. I'm going to open the cone up, and I'm just going to just deploy that zenithal top down. Okay, just really keeping it real chill. And then we'll kind of work off of what we discover with this technique. Just top down, let the features of the model obfuscate the flow, leave a little shadows embedded in there, kind of cheat the angles where you can. So that way you can really just see what's happening. Okay. Take a look at our color balance. I want to get this color balance a little bit more accurate. It's a little bit more neutral than that. That's showing a little too blue on. Let me warm this light up a little bit. Up. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to start kind of cheating it, all right? And I'm going to just really focus down on this shoulder here. This shoulder right here. Kind of center head. Get these little pipes right there. And like I said, I'm going to wipe out a lot of our black. Just want to make sure that that black is like was firm in the recesses, you know. And I'm gonna make decisions about this guy, you know, kind of as we're painting it. Let's get this boot right here. I mean, he's got like functioning armor right there, so I don't know, you know, what's gonna be what. You know, like I see like the rock bits floating around in there. And I feel like I see, now that I'm getting some definition, where they may have sculpted some, like, you know, fire. So he might actually have some fire poking out. We'll see. But he definitely's got some boots. Some gauntlets, so I might have to cut to, you know, to figure that out as we move around. It's gonna be an exploration, though. It's gonna be a journey. All right. Let's get that like rock spear he's got going on here. Let me move this light real quick. Okay. It's not bad. Now I'm starting to see the action. Okay, so rock, he's made of rock, but he's wearing armor. Okay, so let's take some white, put a little bold titanium in the mix, maybe a little bit more of the neutral gray, maybe a splash of turquoise. So I'm gonna be adding a little value to it while maintaining the saturation. Probably too much. I mean, that's a lot of paint in the pot. I'm gonna just get rid of some. I don't need that much. Just put a little flow improver in there. A little water. All right, I'm gonna start to figure this out. Okay, let's figure this shoulder out right here. Right here. Just rocking that needle back just a little bit, real low opacity. It's got a cool little face. Little plate right there, right there, right there. I'm just going to pretend everything is rock for now. We'll figure shit out later, though, with the paintbrush. And we cheated this gray to be a little cool, right? By sneaking a little turquoise in the mix. He's got a lot of texture. Rock right there. I can see like he's made of rocks. There's like rings binding his thighs. There's also like pipes and straps and shit. Like I said, I'm pretty sure these boots are going to be taken off of the gray spectrum, but there's no reason not to just give him a little love right now. Let's rotate back. He's got a big rock panel right here. Squirt a little bit in right there in that leg. I mean, my man is very, very detailed, actually. As you start to deploy more of these transitions, you really start to see he's got quite a lot going on. Looking at my rocks over there. I don't want to get too bright. That's the thing. Is like I really like the way those rocks look. But he's got so much texture on him. It's a little different. I can always go back in time. I'm going to dump a little bit out of the pot. Just throw a little bit more water back, or a little white in there. Water in the lower the opacity. I'm gonna throttle down. We're gonna be taking our time. Is this figure for a game? Reptar exclamation point Mammoth. They got like a lot of like. I think they have a bunch of. They do a bunch of like little D&D style factions. So check out Mammoth, exclamation point Mammoth. Get a free STL. Sign up on their newsletter. So this is very low opacity. Has a little bit of extra white added in. Real respectful. It'll look real bright on laydown, but then it'll start to subdue itself because of the lowered opacity. We'll get a little speckling there. From my cap. Some rock panels in there. So I don't know how the boots are going to be yet, but I'm just going to hit them anyway. Just build it up slowly, barely pulling the trigger back. Some rocks. Rocks in there. Get these fingers right here. Center mass right there. Just building some highlights as we move forward. And I think I'm going to take it to almost pure white, and then I think I'm going to shoot some turquoise back in. big models like this, you can kind of move back and forth, up and down, left and right. It's not just this like singular journey from going from dark to bright. You have enough real estate here that you can really play with it. You can really just feel it out. Kind of stacking it up. And I'm really paying attention to all the features, okay? I'm going to dump the pot, put more white back in, and we're going to go up another step, okay? It's going to be even brighter. More water. Let's put the cap back on. Flow improver in the old pot. Just throttling. Making sure we're clean. All right, here we go. A lot more white in the mix. You can see that, right? Wow. Clico, what airbrush is that? And what is that adjustment you just did? Complete airbrush noob. This is the Creos. I think exclamation point gunner. I think we have a link to this. It's a little. There's a little reducer valve on it that I just cut back on the PSI. Added a lot of moisture to the pot to lower the opacity. I'm gonna go more white than I, would reasonably do normally, because I'm gonna kind of sneak some turquoise back into the paint job. Rotate back this way. I'm gonna stop right there. I need to add a little bit more water to the brush. It's a little thick, a little heavy. There we go. It's not for the PSI specifically, Clique. It's a reducer. So it's still the same PSI loaded in there. This will only let some of it out, which actually is way more consistent than if you just lowered your PSI. Lowering your PSI is usually a trap. See, I'm really targeting the features of this guy. The boots I don't really care about because I'm pretty sure I'm going to paint them differently. But I'm looking for little formations, and I'm just kind of working them. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna back off now. I'm gonna rinse the pot just a little bit. Do a quick hobo fling, hobo rinse. And I'm going to try to sneak a little turquoise back into the mix. So what I'm trying to do is get all that gray out of the pot, just because I want like that pure turquoise. I don't want the gray to desaturate the turquoise yet. So quick hobo fling. Let's put a little turquoise in there. A little water. Low, real low opacity. You see that? It's like just vanishing. So it's just paint water, okay? Essentially. And I want to just stay in control, really barely rock the needle back. And I want to get some of this turquoise to kind of stick in the mid game and give us a little bit of blue as a glaze, a little filter. You see that? It's going to just kind of stick to the darker gray and the brighter gray and give us a nice shift. Some areas it's just kind of like a total filter cover. Some areas, you know, I'm going to be a little bit more directed. But I want just a little bit more of that coolness to show up. And this is like 1% opaque. Stay in that kind of rock world, like a nice cool rock. Thing is, he's got so much texture that I'm like half tempted to throw some dry brushing down on this guy. And this dude is a texture monster. Now you see, I'm inspired by these rocks here. So we used exactly the same paints. It's just that you see how much whiter we let him get. And these are big flat discs. Okay? But I mean, those rocks are textureless, but he's got all sorts of stuff going on in there. And it's almost like, I mean, he's almost asking for an oil wash and a dry brush, but I just don't want to. Just don't want to. I feel like it'd just be a disservice. You know? I'm just letting him kind of set up for a second, just kind of thinking about it. Reptar, the runes around his neck are sick. That's why I'm like imagining like what are the things I'm gonna paint. I mean, we just have to like, you know, we just have to kind of take it as it comes. You know, like, you know, like I want him to be baller. And if I dry brush him or wash him, he'll look good, but he won't be baller. You know what I mean? He won't be balling out of control. We just got to commit to the workload. That's it. You know, we're done. We're not going to airbrush anymore. We're going to pull the paintbrush out. I may go back to the airbrush for other tasks, but I'm going to jump into the paintbrush. I'm going to start locking things in. I need to block in things now and make decisions about what's not going to be stone and what is going to be stone. You know? Just rinsing the brush out. And in a project like this, the airbrush, all it did there was just save me 1 billion seconds. Okay? So, done with it. I'm going to store my paintbrush. It's a simple green real quick. And I'm going to move him out of the way just for 1 second while we curate our palette. Okay, so some simple airbrushing, guys. We just went to the turquoise gray spectrum. Real simple shit. It's like, just basically we did a black and white paint job with a little blue in it. Okay? But I don't know what we're going to do just yet. So I'm going to get my palette set up. I haven't put a lot of thought into colors yet, but I have a couple ideas. I mean, red would be ballin'. To get some sick reds in there would be kind of sick. So I kind of think this is a great chance to work with Burgundy again. Russ, what up, player? That's my dude. That's my dude. Russ, Lunatic on the grass. Thank you for the follow. So I'm going to pull some of this Burgundy out. This is a relatively new color. I really like it. And I want to... I got some ideas. Like I said, I'm going to go kind of weird, okay? Dark blue. I looked at the halo colors, Russ. I did put some thought into it, and in the end, it didn't speak to me. So I got black, dark blue, and burgundy. Okay, and I got some ideas. Okay, now whether or not these are good ideas, we will discover the truth here shortly. Now, for example, he sort of has shoulder trim. Okay? Sort of has shoulder trim. I'm going to paint that. Okay? So I'm going to raw dog some blue, black, burgundy together. Okay? So this is going to make a version of purple. No doubt. Okay? And what I'm going to do is just carefully... God, I feel like I need a glove. Man, do I have another glove in here? I do not. Okay, fuck it. Just going to be careful, okay? He's just too heavy to put on I need something for the... I mean... Just got to be careful. Fuck it. So what I'm going to do here is just carefully, using the heart pull, high opacity, low moisture, I'm going to just try to define this... right here. And that should be an easy stick. Okay? And I'm just going to just put them on the table like this and just going to carefully, as I move into this real estate here, kind of loses the illusion of trim. Like it's like the sculpt starts blending that trim lip into rock again. Okay? You just got to be on your shit. Dub Shep in the chat. What up, man? Now here, this is important to me. So I'm going to be just careful and gentle. And I'm going to kind of make it up. Like it's defined there. We lose definition up there. But I'm just kind of continuing the line as I see it. And there is a bit of a lip. It's just not very defined. So if if I pay attention, I can see that there's a little formation in there. And I'm just gonna let that hit it for a second, okay? Now I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna hit the inside track just real quick. You see this? Now I'm gonna start blocking in things that I feel need to get blocked in. I haven't really mapped it out. I'm kind of just reacting, you know? Now I'm gonna let that set for a second because I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do with that. Needless guilt, what up, player? Now, let's just move in right here. I'm going to try it on this side. Heart pull, tip of the brush, just pull back. High opacity, no additional moisture has been added to the paint. I'm looking for that max coverage situation. Trying to make straight lines back to my heart. So it's just like some dark blue, black, and burgundy right now. I'm treating it as a base coat to define these borders that I can see are part of the sculpt, just subtle. Now I think that maybe narratively he's just like boiling from the inside and starting to turn into slag. I don't know. I don't care. It's not a thing I do. I paint it. I just kind of let my heart guide me. Now I can see a clear trim line right here. Look at that. See that? Using the heart pull strategy. Reach in there, and then I'll varnish this guy tonight. Okay, so now I'm gonna rinse my brush. Russ, you can't even see where you had gaps. Did an awesome job. Thank you, man. Okay, so now let's move straight to the burgundy. Now I love this burgundy. Okay. Now I'm gonna steal a little bit of this pile and kind of link the two. And what I'm gonna do is like a second line here. Kind of just built in. Showing it respect. Because that initial black purple was made from that burgundy. So I kind of split the difference again. Showed a little bit of respect. And I'm just drawing a big ass line in there. I didn't even let this dry. So this is kind of ghetto wet blending right here. See? Being careful. You see now we got a little bit more red going on there. Look at that. None of that is dry in there, so I'm just going to scoop up some more red and just kind of, it's going to just be a wet blend. So I just went to like pure burgundy to kind of wet blend it in there real quick. Using the heart pull, same strategy. Still haven't added any moisture to the paint. It's all just raw dog. Straight off the palette. So now it's much redder than it was before. We'll let that dry for a second because I'm gonna go one more line. Okay. And I wanna you know have a few features that are made like this, right? As I move around and decide what's not rock. So I'm gonna go back to this initial mix, right? Let that kind of curate for a minute. And he's got these rings, which I think are perfect, honestly. And they're like wrapping around his rock thighs. Got to be careful here. Just showed some respect using the heart pull strategy. Rotate like this. There you go. Just one ring right there. Flip them over. Now let's see what this ring turns into. So now the ring kind of actually blends into, so this is kind of maybe a mistake to painted this thing. Now it's turning into another kind of undefined mass up here. As you can see, I'm kind of just faking it right there. But the second I decided we're not doing like some dry brush, you know, molten effect, I committed myself to a trickier paint job. So that's what I get. So there's a ring right here. And right here. A little too bright. So these will be these first few like exploratory swipes that we're doing right now. These will be some of the more stressful. I fucked up. I let my black bleed in on my palette. These will be some of the more high stress paint positions that we're going to be locked into. But once we get it all mapped out, it'll start getting easier and easier. So as one of the secondary colors on this guy, I want it to be a kind of a red. So this thing right here, unfortunately, is also all connected to those rings. So that's going to be fun to figure out when we get into some more details. This thing too. Invent some details in there later. Nothing we haven't done before. Now you can see there's a lip to this ring. As it becomes his knee. And there's some tubes and some pipes in there. I'm going to take a break from this color just because I want to see things. Oh, it's my boy Neil. Yo, this model is crazy, right, Neil? Neil, check it out. Pure burgundy now. There's no extra color. Nice big ass line right along the edge. Look at that. Like I said, I'm gonna take it to that wackier place. That's just my style. It's like, oh, lava rock guy? I don't give a fuck. I like fucking messing around with colors. I like looking for that contrast. See, just sticking that real burgundy in there. I really like that color. We're just messing with them. All right, we got to figure out those rings in there at some point too. I have an idea for those. We're not there yet. Okay, let's go back to the other leg where he's got these rings. So this will be tricky because it's like under a spear. So we went back to our mass, like this mix. Blue, black, burgundy. And I'm doing that to kind of reset the real estate to be darker, and that way I kind of just get right up against the edges. And then I can engineer, rather than doing a bunch of thin coats of burgundy, I can just build volume off of this dark version of burgundy we created by adding dark blue and black. So that way I can get that build up like you see on the shoulders. And we didn't even do hardly any real blending. Okay, you see, so these strips are wily. Look at this. So these strips that wrap around his leg armor or his leg construct become these plates over here. I'm understanding what I'm looking at more. So he's revealing himself to me. See that? He's a wild model. He's got a lot of action on this guy. And we're just using some real brutish laydown techniques, real hot and heavy. No moisture, just straight fucking out of the pot. Get that strap in there. Every now and then, though, I'm going to have to wick the brush. A little moisture just because it's going to dry the brush otherwise. Run it back over here. Now I think that like the third strip, yep, it coalesces up here. Oh shit, who that? Who there? Yo, Dog Cat Jones, 50% cat, 50% dog, all Jones. Can I get some strong mad love from my boy Dog Cat Jones, please? Throwing down a little love. Thank you for the tip. Appreciate it, man. Find support anywhere I can. And it's very validating. So I'm just kind of, I have to just kind of at some point stop, you know, painting the ring and deciding where the armor ends and the rocks begin again. And that's where I decided to do it. Something like that. Okay. I like it. I like it. Now the boots are going to be a whole other thing. I think element of the boot is going to be this color. Like maybe like this part. Okay, I might grab a little moisture because I'm gonna load up. Okay. So like I think like this shit up here. I'm going real gangster, okay? And there's almost no reason to paint it by numbers like this, except that I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm done with this. So at least on one boot, I have to kind of play with it. And I want to get all this stuff done today so that I can start the actual detailing process. Okay, so I'm going to rinse the brush off now because that's such a big spot that I should be able to just pick up some burgundy now while it's wet. And I should be able to just run some straight in there with a wet blend. So I'm going real hot and heavy here. Just kind of using the heart pull to blend it into the moist purple. As you can see, real easy to do. Move around right here. Just kind of keep walking it in. I'm going to stipple right here. I'm going to rinse the brush again because it's got a lot of purple on it. Pick some more red up. Just stipple right here. Rotate in. Just kind of some heart pull and some stipple. Rotate this way. Gonna do some heart pull right here. And some ghetto stippling. So we got a bit of a transition game right there. That's just a quick foundation, real brute force laid out, okay? Not perfect, but it'll ride for now. While that's drying, let's run it back to burgundy. Split the difference with a little bit of our initial mix. Just show it a little respect, okay? And here we don't really have to do the brute force. Here I could just drag this right over almost everything we painted, leaving a little bit behind. And we'll get volume just from doing it that way. Mainly because we showed it respect. We didn't just pick a paint, then a different paint. We took the same paint and just added more of the bread as we just bully in a little volume to those straps, you see? On this big flat plane, though, I just did a quick brute force laydown. High opacity, some moisture. But it was more like max opacity with moisture in it. And it's dark blue, black, burgundy, with more burgundy now. Okay. My man Recoil, what up, player? Get a McFarlane vibe from this guy? Me too, totally. Absolutely. Now that we're carving him up, I feel you. Let's do the same thing over here, Recoil. We're just gonna bully in some top coats, heart pull, high opacity, low moisture. Just like some cell shading, basically. It's creating a blend without doing any blending. Real simple shit. While that's drying, let's do the other boot. Okay. So it was some black, some dark blue, some burgundy. Okay, maybe a little bit more burgundy. A little moisture in there. Maybe a little bit more burgundy. There we go. We're going to lay it down. Light brush pressure. Hot and heavy. Working from the heart pull position where I just try to drag it back to my body for precision. Sometimes I do a little stipplage. I stay quick. Here we go. It's a big surface. I want to get it all laid out quick. Stipple right there. Flip it. We're going to keep moving off that wet edge we built right there. Bring it back to the beginning. Just making sure it's still wet and smooth. Let's get this sidewall right here. Okay, let's rinse the brush. Get all that purple off of the brush we made. Let's pick up some pure burgundy. We're going to run that right in here at this peak. And using the heart pull, we're just going to let the ambient moisture just blur it in. Now there's too much purple in the brush. Wipe it off again. Pick up more of that raw burgundy. Stipple it in right there. Just making little 3D print lines basically. Rinse the brush, dry it. You don't want too much moisture on it. Let's take some more burgundy right here. Let's walk it down the front. Just a little bit of stippling. A little bit of stippling right here. Rinse the brush, get that excess off. Flip it. Rinse it. Pick up a little bit more. See if we can sneak in right here at that same thing at that point. There's a lot of purple there, so it's going to infiltrate our brush quick. Rinse dry, get more burgundy. Let's kind of connect the dots right here. And the moisture is going to help you get that blur real easy. It's really not wet blending, it's painting with uncured paint and keeping it in that uncured state. And the ambient moisture in the medium will help you get that blurring effect with pretty low effort. As long as you understand what's happening, all you have to do is really have a cursory knowledge of the behavior of moisture while you're pushing it around. And this becomes really easy to do. I teach it in my 201 curriculum. So that's just a quick laydown, right? So that was like what we did up here in the shoulder pads, but all in one. Instead of doing like 3 little passes, because of how fat that is, I just did it all in one laydown. But on these skinnier things, right, I'm going in for the 3rd pass now of pure burgundy. And because we've walked our way up to this burgundy in a similar fashion, this will stick. I can be a little rough and tough, and you'll get like this illusion of blending. But there's kind of a limit to that. And these are they're textured, they're not as fat. And that'll just ride, you know? And it leaves some of the purple behind. Pop, 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 pow. No channel point redeems, Rat Lord. Oh, we got our own elaborate system of points. Exclamation point, yo dogs. But you have to be an active chatter. Rat Lord, we ship out a ton of swag bags every month. Shout out to all our sponsors. Put hobby products out there that we believe in. I don't use the functionality of Streamlabs or Twitch for my points though. Got my own shit. My own proprietary shit. We're just brushing that burgundy in here, letting things dry. Blah, 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 blah. Rotate back. Got to use a lot of thumb strength here. Real easy to do because we've shown it respect. See how I'm just so, it doesn't even matter practically. Our wet blending is almost dried here. And now I can take some of that raw burgundy. Give ourselves a little edge right there. A little edge right there. Gonna walk it in, just brush it in lightly right here. Just to kind of ramp it up. See, that bigger surface area is a little trickier, so we did it differently. Pow, 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 pow. Ooh. Love Minis 57 months back to Bizak. Can I get some strong woman love for the greatest of all mods? All right, let's get the other leg done like that, and then we'll do a little whip break because this guy is a beast. Still a little wet. I might be able to just gingerly run in here. You want to be careful though. You don't want it to be like semi-wet and you just peel it off. So just light brush pressure. Be gentle. As we lay it down. Okay, So I've pretty much got my first task. One of my secondary colors has been determined, and I kind of knew always it was going to be a red. Okay. And I still have to figure out what how the gauntlets are going to come together, because the gauntlets have a lot of action as well. Okay, it's going to be a whole other thing. Probably just going to keep them in the red department, honestly. Probably going to do some non-metal metallic knuckles. Maybe this rune over here. But we got a big task, right? We got to paint everything on this guy that's not rock. So using dark blue, black, and burgundy is all we've been using so far. And I'm going to just look at these gauntlets, kind of just decide what we're going to do there. So there is kind of a frame to them, so I feel like I got to hit it. So let's grab some of this black, some of this blue, some of this burgundy. Another pile with more burgundy. And let's see if we can trace them. I'm going to actually set them down a little bit here. And let's see. There's definitely a big frame here. I'm going to use a raw dog ton of paint right here. Using the heart pull strategy right here. I'm just going to be real careful. And I don't know what's going on right here, but I feel like I need to paint it all right here. And I'm just going to get it done using just some light stipples, doing what I can. A little heart pull right there. Pull it straight back to my body, keeps you a lot straighter. And we're using that darker version of burgundy that we've curated on the wet palette ourselves. So he's got another panel right here. Huge, obvious framework right here. And it's like a little bit of a design, almost like a cog pattern here. Like he might be like a dwarven construct or something. Rotate back. And there's like more pipes. There's a lot of things that aren't rock. You know, it's really easy to just be like, oh, these rocks and shit. But the more you look, the more you will discover there's a lot holding this guy together that's not just from fucking rocks. So you can say, I'm going to wash and dry brush this guy, and then commit yourselves to a lower contrast paint job for sure. But it'd be a lot easier. What I'm committed to is a lot more paint strokes. So I just want to define some borders, get some nice clean edges in there. And I know that I'm going to create a ton of work for myself. But it's not like I have some army I'm painting here. This is like a single model I'm going to paint from Mammoth. And I picked it because I liked them. And I want to do a cool job on them. And I accepted the challenge. So I got a kind of that first frame laid out right there. While I'm chilling right there, see, I'm seeing more. Look right here. There's more of those cogs. And I can see where there's the remnants of one up here. If you look careful, you can see that there is absolutely a frame there. It's very subtle. And I think it's like he's metal and it's all melting away. I feel like it's probably what's supposed to be happening here. Yo, my boy Recoil in chat throwing me some love right there. Thank you so much, brother. Can I get some strong man love? My man likes some raw. There's some more cog action here. Yeah, and I think like that's why the cogs are getting distorted. Is that they're melty. Another obvious frame though, look. I'm breaking the rules. It's a little harder to control the brush like this. But we're getting it. Getting it. Yo, my boy Apex King in chat. What's up? How we doing? Sorry I've been here trolling. Just seen better content. Good job. You've just been busy watching better videos. All right. So there's a lot. There's more action right here. Look. Now you can. Now that I know what I'm looking at a little bit more, I can see. That there's like. I mean, it's pretty confusing, honestly. Kind of just have to go with the flow. We're gonna have to just start inventing shit. This is this is the journey I'm on. Okay, so we're gonna mix up a dose of our dark color, and we're just gonna make the magic happen. Okay, start here, work our way back. Raw dog, high opacity, no additional moisture. Let's get this frame. With some just quick heart pulls. Let's just kind of keep pulling the wet edge down. Let's flip the guy. Right there. And I kind of feel like we just have to hit this knuckle duster. Hot and heavy. I kind of I'm seeing that it's very smooth here. So I'm going to bring it all the way down to his fingers. Reverse engineer it if I have to. But I know there's going to be more work. Flip it again. Rotate, look for the viewing angle. There's actually a strap here, look. There's actually a cross piece. Getting a little deeper. So that's that. Lay down right there. I'm with it. Okay, so there's some like barrel, there's like some, I don't know what the fuck those are, some screws. We'll let that ride. We'll use something different for those. All right, let's run over to here. Let's get, now that we know what we're looking at, we can guess easier on this closed fist. I'm gonna sneak in a weird angle because of this fucking spear. Right there. I'm gonna reach way in. Real tricky shit. I'm holding the back of my paintbrush here. Okay, so we know that we painted this frame on the other one right here, so we're going to just follow that. Hot and heavy. A lot of opacity, not a lot of moisture. You know, I think I'm going to paint those spikes. That just came to me. Rotate back. Okay, we're reaching. Just kind of stippling down. Now I'm moving back to this side. See, I decided these spikes are going to get lumped in right here. Not going to overcomplicate it. Got those. There's definitely like a dripping pattern there. We're just acknowledging its existence, that's all. There's a spike right here, like laid flat against his arm. There's one right here. Rough Luck Games, thank you for the raid, baby. Let me get some strong hype in the chat right there. Bring the hype game to maximum. Thanks, guys. Hit that follow button. We are just working out some kinks right now on this project we just started today. It's going to be a big project. Exclamation point mammoth. If you're just tuning in, you want a free STL. We are painting this rock monster Colossus guy. And we are going crazy, not even sticking remotely to any narrative. Right now it's just burgundy on the palette, some dark blue, a little black. It's kind of what our base laydown right now is. Just doing some base coats. And we're just picking out strips of knot rock. And we're using this kind of turquoise-ish gray rock. And we're going to have to do a lot of detail later. Right now it's just airbrushed. And we're locking in some paint by numbers strips of things. And Turn the light down a little bit. You can see he's not quite that washed out. And he's got a lot of things, so much stuff on this guy that we have to kind of just keep pulling out. Okay, so here on his like elbow guards, there's that slag pattern trim. Rotate. We're using hot and heavy, raw dog, off the palette, high opacity, low moisture, just some light heart pulls, real light brush pressure here. I just have to make some of it up as we go. Little stipple action right there. Shout out to Ruffles Luck, thank you. This is a fun model for sure. I love the character design on it. Very OG comic, like Joe Madureira, Battle Chasers, Age of Apocalypse. Looks kind of like Holocaust from Age of Apocalypse. All right, there's really no trim there. This is just got to kind of make this one up. Oh, there's a little bit of a border. Now we have to come up with other colors. But let's wrap up some of this. Okay, let's rinse our brush. We've done our base coat, which again, this trifecta, it looks like this. Now we're going to add more burgundy to it. So it looks like this. And we're just going to take that and just kind of brush it right on top, but not repaint it. We're just going to add a new tier of brightness to it. Kind of rough and tough. And it's just gonna, it's very respectful. It's gonna walk itself in. It's gonna look very natural. We're deliberately leaving some of that darker stuff behind. And this is just a quick step. And since we show it enough respect, we could get a nice blend without having to do any blending. Just kind of tracing, big broad strokes. And so rather than try to paint it burgundy just right over the colors, we built a nice shadowy depth. We incorporated blue and black into it, and we're going to be able to just leave that volume in there, right? That transition behind. If you try to do like a bunch of thin coats of burgundy until it was burgundy, you know, you kind of just, now you need to like wash it or something. Instead, I'm just kind of engineering it in from the ground floor. Keeping it hot and heavy. If I'm going to do multiple coats, it's almost never going to be just the same color over and over again. It's going to, or paint. It's going to be something that brings more drama to the real estate. If you blend your paints like I'm doing here, I'm like not afraid to blend things together. You'll find a lot of fail rate will be mitigated because we just know it. We know this is our spectrum and the red is where we're trying to go. So we just keep adding more red and it's going to be very natural. versus like holding two different paints up to the light and hoping it works. Like we know mathematically this will work. Tight. I'm gonna rest the brush again. First time chatter, my man Sam Squanches. What's up, brother? Let's take some of that burgundy raw dog now. And we're gonna be a little bit more careful, a little bit more deliberate now. We're just gonna kind of draw a little line in there. Just follow the architecture right here. We're gonna do like a center line right here. Kind of just trace this drip pattern a little bit. Right there. Using the tip of our brush, just carefully just drag it in. Again, this is not going on pure opaque. It's still letting some of those darker colors show through. And we are making our lines skinnier. It's just a nice solid base coat. Imagine, just pretend you did 3 coats to get the color you wanted, but instead it looks good instead of flat. It's a little wet here, and so every time when it's a little wet like that, I'm just going to be gentle and let the wet blending occur. I'm going to go back in time because there's a spike here I missed. And there. Rotate. Now I'm going to switch to burgundy again. Just kind of bully in that red. So just quick blocking in, and we're getting just all those things framed out. This is honestly one of the hardest parts of the paint job, is identifying how much detail is really on the model. Let's move over here. Let's just put a strip of burgundy right there, right there. There. Got a little on the blue, was my first mistake. Using the heart pull. Getting those burgundies to pop off. Very natural, love it. Right there, right there. There we go. Let's move into the top. Just kind of put a nice big healthy amount out, just smooth it out. There's no actual blending happening here. We're just laying it down like cell shading. But you'll see, you know, since I showed it all that respect, it looks kind of blendy. And I will definitely do a lot more detail than that We just need to get a nice snapshot. About 38 minutes left. We got plenty of time, guys. Exclamation point. Murder Worm for today's giveaway. If you want to win a model. Appreciate you guys' support. Shout out to Frozen Hobbit, Recoil, and Dogcat Jones. Thank you guys so much for the support. Ben405 in the chat. What up? Yo dog. All right. So I definitely can do a lot more highlighting on the red, which I will do, but I want to now shift. I want to figure out the boots a little bit more. So I kind of feel like what I need to do I don't know if I want him to have, I don't want him to have like straight red boots. Just don't know what other color I want to use. Purple? Like an actual purple maybe? No, it's too close to what I have. Burgundy is like already in that world. Do we actually just take it to the blue? Do we actually just fucking say fuck it? Hit it with the turquoise? Or is that too close? Or I'll just go off the fucking beaten path into non-metal metallic there? Okay. Okay. What do I have? Color-wise. Yellow ochre. Squirt out a little yellow ochre. I'll squirt out a little transparent orange. Go boy. Mammoth has pretty sweet minis. Just sign up on their Patreon. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, they do. They do have some sweet ass minis. Man, am I fucking out of mahogany? What's this? Transparent brown? Fuck it. This is my workup. Let's just try to mess with this. So here's some brown, transparent brown, ochre, transparent orange. Here we go, fuck it. YOLO. Going in hot. So before I do any kind of wet blending or anything like that, I want to be able to unlock wet glazing and stuff. So what I need to do is just, again, get the real estate set to the proper color family before I work in. So I want them to have gold stuff, but I don't want to paint it with metallic paint. So, this. So this. I'm just messing with the boot. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't know what I'm doing. Might have to mix up more paint. Shout out to Say You Love It. What up, homie? Kind of just feeling it out. So you love it in chat. Kind of just locking it down. Some transparent brown, ochre, transparent orange. Pow, pow, pow. Just keep making more. So I don't know how much of this boot I'm going to do. Just kind of looking at it. I'm just acknowledging all the detail in it. Painting the first one. Getting a nice base coat. And I might do a little airbrushing over the boot too once I get a base coat locked in. I spent a few seconds deliberating and just decided to go with transparent orange or brown. I love yellow ochre from Monument Paints, one of my favorites. And I'm going to do definitely a non-metal metallic style here, but it might not be all that credible. Because it's very textured still. But I get the sense of like a bronze or copper or something.
And his name is John C.
Yo, the red ones in chat. Let me get some strong man and woman love for the red ones. There's two of them. Throwing some love. Thank you so much. Let me get that hype train. Now the red ones. I'll let that... We'll chill, let that chill. Let's cut in this one real quick. BPAC says first airbrush questions. Exclamation point gunner. I think I have a link to the one I would suggest.
Red, white, blue. Bang, bang.
Dub Sherman. The Wisher Man. Can I get some strong man love for an old school legend and a true American hero? Dub Sherman. Did I just accidentally start painting this guy in Hulk Hogan colors? I must be thinking about Rumble Slam in the background. All right, check it out. Dub Sherman, lessons learned. Here's my little dry brush. I'm mixing up a little puddle. This shit is secretly one of the best base brushes in the game. This Monument Hobby small dry brush. All right, done with it. Switching back to my number 4. The bots hate Canadians today. Oh no. What is it for? How many Yo Dogs do you need? Tell Love Minnie is the exact number of Yo Dogs you need. She can square you up because she is the beast mod. You see how much easier this boot was to paint because I used that dry brush technique? And I think we got way more opacity too in the laydown. Like it's way more opaque. Dub Sherman in chat, where you at, baby? Miss you, dog. Recoil, it has been proven. So this one's a lot yellower than this one. We'll see if that holds true after this one dries, before I do anything with that. It's probably because my brown got super wet. Probably needed more transparent brown. But we'll see. I'll move on with my life. Now, I already kind of scoped this out. And I want to paint this shit. So you gotta be careful, use high opacity, low moisture. We're using the heart pull, trying to connect the wet edges where we can. Definitely don't want to get caught up and bogged down painting one little part of the guy for too long. I just want to jump around and get as much stuff done per session as possible to be as efficient with our paint time as possible. Whoops. There's like a little shelf up here. I'm just trying to catch it carefully. Yep, I like that. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with his face just yet. I mean, it is a helmet, though. Okay, I think I figured it out. We're going to paint his helmet in the same spectrum. At least partially. It's definitely a straight up helmet. And there is a clear seam on it. He's got like fucked up eye slits. So like we can see what's going on there. Rinse. Still about 24 minutes left. Now, you see this like strange secondary collar? I just realized that that'd be a perfect place to go back to our workup. That red, so I'm gonna be careful here. I'm just gonna skirt around it. so. And we're just going to kind of get that base coat established real carefully. There's like a bunch of runes on it and shit. There's runes on all of this stuff. I'm sure there's like I think there's probably a lore packet. Because I think that all the stuff that Mammoth does has little back lores. Like they sell lore in squads. For people, I think for people to play D&D. So I'm sure there's like a whole bunch of shit on this guy I don't know that I should have read or asked about. Kind of feel like I need to get in deeper. Okay, this is gonna be tricky. Feel like I just got to get in there. Wherever the paint gets, it gets. I can't let that base in there not be painted. It can't just be the blue airbrush. So I'm going to end up getting paint on his face again. It's just going to happen. Like that smooth disc. Gotta get it all. It cannot not be painted. Alright, I think I got it all. Got a little on his face. Let it dry. We'll repaint it. No worries. Recoil. It is, like, I started thinking Iron Man. I was like, dude, is this like gangster Iron Man? Rock Iron Man? Let's grab some burgundy. With still 20 minutes left. We are giving a model away today, guys. Exclamation point. Murder worm. Let's lightly brush some of that burgundy in. That chill. Let that chill for a second. While that's chilling, let me grab some. Is this just straight coal black or transparent black? Let's see. It's transparent black. We need a little bit of coal black to get some coverage on that. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Bringing some just straight up black. These pipes. For now. Just want to kind of see what's going on up here in the chestal region. Definitely do more than just black. But I gotta get the real estate reset, and sometimes black is the best. We're doing that. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I use other colors. Just some coal black and transparent black. Okay. He is hard to handle. That's a tricky fucking mini, guys. There we go. I'm doing this just to stay busy while the head dries. Using just some stippling and some little heart pull action. Probably reaching the limit of this big brush for this kind of stuff. Just trying to be as careful as I can though. I'll probably switch to my little guy here after that initial pass right there. And now you can see like all the stuff that's not rocks, right? It's a lot. Let me just kind of balance out the mini by getting some black down over here. High opacity, low moisture. And we really got to spend some time figuring out the pipes though. Because the pipes are not an afterthought. Like a lot of like random hoses and shit. These are a big feature on this guy. Some action right here. Some action right here. And the good thing is anytime I get it on the rock, it's easy. It's just some turquoise and gray, you know, to clean it up. There's hoses all over the place that we got to work on. And once we get it all built up, I mean, the sky's the limit on how much contrast we really can generate on this guy. But I want to do this like non-metal. I want to do a nice gold non-metal metallic workup. Let's go back to this slurry and just like fix the little bit of burgundy that got on the face. A little bit down here. Let's rinse the brush again. The boy is thick. Cathera. 14 minutes left, guys. We are giving that model away. Exclamation point, murder, worm, on cue, Gons the Unjust coming in, throwing some love down. My dudes. Coming in with an old gift. One of the originals. And Gons the Unjust, check it out. I'm swiping some burgundy right on top of this thingy. Gons, that murder one looks pretty gross. Perfect for being in the background of Zoom calls at work. Let me get some strongman love. Thank you, Gons, for your support. Fucking gangster. feel like I accidentally did Hulk Hogan colors. I'm not gonna lie. Let me get a little brown. I mean, I've got so much more painting to do on this guy. We're not even close. I'm just jumping around to get a snapshot. So much. Let's get a little brown in this mix. We got... I mean, I fucking have to paint these, in my opinion. These right here. I snuck a little bit more brown in there. Hot and heavy. I'm just going to paint one at a time just to feel it out for a second. Yeah, they got to get painted 100%. Yep. Ooh. It is a happy accident. Lady Nim Hobbies, thank you for tuning in. We are trying to get some base coats laid out on this brand new project. Shout out to Mammoth. We're going hot and heavy right off the wet palette. Super high opacity. We're just using some ghetto, lazy, heart pulley stipple. Big number 4 brush. Let's flip it. Careful. God, this guy's so much thumb grip strength right here. The amount of twisting and turning I got to do. Double pin to this little base just to keep him banging into everything. Okay, got those. I like that. And like these fingers, I kind of want to do the fingers too. About 10 minutes left in the show, guys. Thank you so much. Anybody who finds value in the content and tips me, thank you, dog. It's very validating. This is how I pay my bills. Courtesy of these sponsors we're working with, like Mammoth. Anybody who types in ! Mammoth today, signs up for that email list, gets this STL for free. Like, right now. Might as well do it. And I think there's like a contest too that they're going to be running. Like an Instagram whip contest. And it may be in that sign up sheet. I don't know. I have to look at it. More details to follow. We might be doing like a tag contest or something. Anyone prints this out and paints it, I think that's how it works. I'm just doing it. Fuck it. This is transparent orange, ochre, and transparent brown. That's our base color. Oof, oof. Rotate. Gotta sneak in. You gotta constantly shift this model. Make sure you're not missing something. And since I'm gonna be doing so much, probably like wet glazing and wet blending and stuff, sometimes you just want to get the real estate there, no extra details. A little transparent brown, orange, some of this ochre. Right here, well, 7.5 minutes left. Let's get this finger hot and heavy. And another thing too is, since there is blue built into this guy, that turquoise, I don't want the turquoise to interact with the yellows and the ochre and become green. So I am cautious and committed to getting some really good opacity before I start doing the blends, because I don't want my awesome like yellowy ochres to turn into greens. Whereas when we put like the purple blue situation, that's gonna just have an easy relationship with the blue that already exists. Like it's gonna be like more purple, okay. Don't want it to be green gold, you know? Alright, this is going to be tricky, guys. Oof. 6.5 minutes. I got to sneak in between these fingers. Didn't even notice that shit. Oh my god. That's a whole can of worms. Shout out right there to Lady in Hobbies. Thank you for the follow. All those dumbbell curls paid off when you were lifting recoil. I've got painter's hands, dude. Got weak ass little fingers. I also feel like my left hand is like extra useless. Like I feel like I spent so many years building up dexterity in my right hand that my left hand is like real bad. Like I have to like think about everything I do in my left hand. Like all my processing power. Don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it.